Hey, it's Rachel, and I want to give you a couple of tips to change things around if your child becomes nasty to you or anyone else in your family when they are upset. I talk about this topic all the time with parents because, for better or worse, it's actually very common for human beings, and that includes us as adults, when we are flooded with big, uncomfortable emotions. Maybe we're disappointed or frustrated or overwhelmed. It's common for us to take these emotions and turn them out on other people. I call this turning our yuck out. We do this as adults too. Maybe you've had a really bad day. For whatever reason, you're in a place of yuck, and your child maybe asks you a question and you take all of your yuck out on them. Or maybe you're really sweet to your children all day long, but you're really frustrated with them, so you take that yuck and you put it on your spouse. We turn our yuck out, and so do children. Often their turning their yuck out is this nastiness, or it's defiance, or it's kids who refuse to take responsibility for their actions. That's all yuck being turned out. So what do we do in this situation? Well, let me start by telling you what you cannot do. You've probably learned this already. You could probably tell me all about this. The problem is you can't tell your child in the moment what they should do differently. So you can't say something like, "You're really upset. Please take some deep breaths." Because once they're in yuck, they're not going to want to do what you ask. So the key is to teach children how to release this yuck in a healthier way, but you have to do it proactively or in between times of yuck. And there are two tips that I have that can make this really work. This will make or break whether your child actually uses more healthy strategies in the moment. The first tip is that you need to help them find a strategy that is comfortable for them. So obviously deep breathing works, but that may be not something that they choose on their own. What I suggest is you think about the temperament of your child and find a strategy that matches their temperament. For example, if you have a really physical child, a child who maybe yells or pushes when they're really upset, you want to find them physical strategies to release all of that energy of those uncomfortable emotions, but those physical strategies obviously have to respect the people around them. So some examples of respectful physical strategies, maybe your child can push really hard on the wall or even do wall push-ups. Or I know children like to maybe take some paper and crumple it up in a ball. Or some children might like to take a crayon and just press really hard on a piece of paper. The point is that they're taking all of this energy that's inside from these uncomfortable emotions or yuck, and they're releasing it in a healthy way, but in a way that matches how they're feeling. Kids who are really physical and really angry don't necessarily choose on their own to take deep breaths. Which brings me to the second tip I want to give you, that your children, even if you've found the best strategy in the world and they love it, they won't actually use it unless they've practiced it in between times of yuck. And that's because when we are in yuck, we automatically default to what we've done time and time again in the past. Until a new behavior becomes as well known, we're not going to do that new behavior. You can almost think about it like muscle memory. When we're flooded with emotions, we're going to do what our muscles remember to do. So if your child has screamed for the past 300 times that they've been upset, and you introduce this new strategy once or twice and you haven't really practiced it, there's no way they're going to do that new strategy. It's just not enough of a groove in their brain to do the new behavior. So it's really ideal to practice these behaviors in between times of yuck. And I can tell you, having worked with families for so long, so many hundreds of families, that those two things are really what make or break whether a child does choose to use these healthier strategies in the moment. It's finding a strategy that works for them and making sure they're practicing it in between times of yuck. So if you want some ideas of more strategies or how exactly you practice this with your children, I'm talking about this all month in my online parenting academy, and I'll put a link to that academy below this video. I hope that gives you some food for thought, though, for now. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.